Morning. Welcome to Mornings with Michael for information and educational purposes only. First, we go to our Bitcoin chart, and it is repeating what happens in the overnight session, moves up in the overnight session, and then it is sold into. So we'll just kind of see where that goes. It is still kind of remaining above the 57,000 mark. That is it on cryptocurrencies. This is our heat map. We have been having some sell-off here. Tesla down a little over 7%, Meta 4%. So it's all the big cap tech people are selling into, and there is a rotation. A word of the day is Xiphoid. Xiphoid is our word of the day. Once it comes up here, Xiphoid is a sword-like object. Children look for any Xiphoid objects that they could use to pretend to duel with each other. So that is that. If you're concerned at all whether this correction phase will turn into big downturn, well, this is somewhere you may want to point out. You don't want to let your hard-earned money that you spend a lifetime building up, turning a 401k into a 201k. Well, this account beats index investing by about 5% per year. You never lose money. It goes up when the market goes up and does not go down when the market goes down. And currently, they're offering a 25 to 40% bonus on new money coming into some of these programs. Want to learn more? Feel free to reach out to me. And this is our stock of the day, building products, gap up a little over 8%. LABU is our ETF of the day, up about 8%. Our IPO of the day is NNOX Imaging, crosses a 50-day moving average, up close to 9%. Some other ETFs that are doing well. This one is retail, up 3.44%. Home builders, gap up and up nearly 6%. Building materials got a nice rise, up 1.41%. So that, we'll just take a look at financials, see what they're doing. Financials are rounded out the core as they have their big day tomorrow, up 0.74%. So that is the status there. Look at our dollar index. Dollar index gap down big time, down at 0.5%, trying to rebound to get to its 50-day moving average. I imagine silver is moving. It is. It's up 2%. Gold, nearly 2%, gap up and near its high. Our copper index actually pulling back to its 20 and 10-day moving average. Take a look at Arrow, copper miner, big sell-off there down to its 20-day moving average. And tech holding in there. Southern Copper going back to the 50-day. And Freeport-McMoRan holding in there pretty good. See this stock of the day yesterday, pretty much right in line. Denison Mines is up slightly, up to 227, up 3 cents, as it's working on a rebound, getting into the pivot area. Let's look at our bonds. Bond yields, wow, look at that big drop, down 0.87%. Down actually 2%, down 0.87 cents. And look at the 20-year, down 2%. What happened? CPI numbers came, they were expected to go up 0.1%, and it went down 0.1%. So it's the first cooling since 2020. Go look at a volatility or VIX-X. It throttles up. It's up to 1305. I think 1368 is our target. Maybe right around the 10-day moving average. And let's take a look at S&P 500. Pulling back, as I said yesterday, it was right around the area that it pulls back, being up 5% above is 50-day moving average. The equal weight is actually up today. As things rotate, this is good news. Gaps up, and it is clearing kind of a base there. The NASDAQ is down, was down a little over 2% here, pulling back to the 10-day, as it got between 8 and 12%, also the area that it gets turned away. Got the equal weight. Interesting, the equal weight on the NASDAQ is down as well, down 0.41%. Small capitalization stocks, look at that move. Big gap up. Looks like it's going to have a breakout the first time, maybe in 2.5 years. Up 3.6%. And the Dow Jones is up as well. Maybe not as much, but is up 0.08%. Let's go to our news. International Energy, IEA, said global oil demand growth will slow to just under 1 million barrels per day this year. And next, the Chinese consumption contracted in the second quarter due to economic problems. Bull bear spread of American individual investors weekly survey was 27.5 versus 15.6 last week. Bulls rise to 49% from 41.7. Neutrals fall to 29.1 from 32.2. And bears fall to 21.7 from 26.1. And that's definitely when often the bears decline. That's when the market has a pullback or correction. Costco wholesale reported sales of $24.48 billion for retail month of June. And their stock is falling nearly 4% on that news. Delta Airline shares tumble on guidance. Big gap down. They're trying to bounce up the 200-day moving average. They're down 5%. Pepsi reports Q2 core EPS $2.28 versus $2.16. Initially sold off, and now it's up 0.23%. Price Smart Q3 EPS $1.08 versus $1.01. And initially they pulled back, and then they're bouncing up 1.51%. Vista Outdoor late Thursday urged shareholders to vote in favor of a proposal to sell its Kinetic Group ammunition business to Czechoslovakian group, Czech conglomerate, and their shares are up nearly 4%. On to energy, industrials, and materials. Alcoa preliminary Q2 EPS 8 to 19 cents versus estimate of 6. They're rising slightly today, up 2.2%. AZZ Incorporated adjusted EPS $1.46 versus $1.30. Initially sold off, and now they are bouncing up 4.76%. Olin Corporation announced the temporary distribution of operations of its Freeport, Texas facility because of Hurricane Beryl, and their stock is up slightly. We're just going to adjust our news category here. Republic Services upgraded to buy from hold at Truist and raised its target to 220 from 192. They're breaking out up nearly 1%. WD-40 up big, Q3 EPS $1.46 versus estimate $1.39, up 3.5%. On to financials, Alliance Bernstein said its preliminary assets under management increased to $769 billion during June 2024, and they're up 0.5%. Artisan Partners Asset Management reported that its preliminary assets under management as of June 24 totaled $158.9 billion, and they have a gap up on that news, up 2.85%. Citigroup shares dipped after the Federal Reserve and Office of Comptroller Currency said they had fined Citi $136 million for making insufficient progress toward fixing data management issues. Identified in 2020, their stock is down 2% after moving into the breakout zone. Franklin Resources. Ben reported preliminary month-end assets under management of 1.65 trillion at June 30th, 2024, compared to 1.64 trillion. We've got a gap up, and it's up 2.5%. Visco preliminary month-end assets under management 1.715.8 billion, an increase of 1.7%. Move above to 16. And Lazard preliminary assets under management June 30th of 244.7 billion. So this is moving up on that news, 3.26. Victory Capital Holdings reported total assets under management 168.7 billion as of June 30th, 2024, and they are moving up on that news as well, up about 5%. On to healthcare. CalVista reports quarter one EPS $1.02 loss versus a consensus of 73 cents, selling off slightly off 1%. Pfizer announced that based on results from the ongoing pharmacokinetic study, the company has selected its preferred once daily modified release formulation of danuglipron, an oral glucagon-like peptide 1 receptor agonist. So it is moving up 1.2% on this news. Apple will open its tap and go mobile payment system to rivals. EU antitrust regulators said Thursday in a 4-year-long investigation that could have resulted in a hefty fine for the iPhone maker. They're pulling back a little bit in the market, not necessarily on this news, but E2Open parent quarter one EPS 4 cents versus estimate 4 cents, and they're dropping as their earnings dropped 20% from the previous quarter. And finally, ITT Incorporated announced a strategic commercial agreement with its Svanholge business, furthering the company's leadership position in green energy transition. And they're gapping up, and they're at their high with an increase of 2.5%. So that is a story. We have an incredible number of stocks up 5% today. We're not going to look at all of them. I believe we have 107 items. Earlier, I looked at it was 118. Got a lot of banks in here. We got continued buying into the biotech. Number one, we could look at 10x Genomics. It is up about 8%, 21 days till their earnings. Interesting, we got a semiconductor in here, Alpha and Omega, which is up, which is kind of breaking the tide of the other semiconductors. Got some education stocks, number of bank shares, number of home builders are up today. That's why the home builder ETF is up. Beazer Homes is up 9%. We got Buckle in retail. Buckle and Brunswick. Brunswick is up about 6%. Buckle is up about the same. Just kind of scan through this. Century Communities. I believe this is a REIT. Build single family detached and attached homes in metropolitan regions of Colorado, Texas, Georgia, Nevada. We've got another bank here. D.R. Horton Home Builders. We can kind of see it's kind of moving here. They're up 7.3%. We got another biotech and Entrada Therapeutics. Look at that big move, up about 11%. Got some utilities. Floor and Decor. I believe this was an IPO in 2020. Installed building products was their stock of the day. Kura Sushi. It must have, yeah, their earnings were down 94%. Must have been better than what people had expected. Here's another biotech. Up slightly, up about 8%. One of our stocks that we were profiling yesterday was up big yesterday and is up another 16% today on, I believe it's a Medicare reimbursement that they're looking to increase the amount of money that gets reimbursed. LGI Homes. So we can just see a large number of companies that are up 5%, 50%, 5%, 100% increase in volume. We looked at Lantheus. And Verona Pharma. Huge move up, 18%, pretty close to the breakout as number of things move into healthcare. Just take a look at healthcare area. Had a pretty nice move up there as well. So that's kind of where things are moving. What did we do today? So we got out of Tesla. And, trying to move up. We got involved in something, then totally missed it, but we sold it at 244.65, I believe. Here's some things that we got into. Got quite a good amount in LABU yesterday, and then added after the close. This is in retail. We had thought about getting into this. We didn't get into it, but this is Lazy Boy is moving up big time with the retail sector. The IRT is moving up. Just bring up my count on this other little handheld so I can show a couple of other items that we did get into. We added to Bitcoin. It's up 0.07%. Bought this we bought some options in front door. Moved up, we actually bought a couple of days ago and got back where we bought it. And now it's moving on up here, up another 3.35%. Got into Dave, but we hit the bottom over here. Got it right on this day. Continues moving on up. Got back into Datadog. Felt like the end had come on software's decline. See if this is a handle or not. We sold half of IoT. It's getting a little bit of a bounce today, up 3.24%. Elf Beauty, bouncing off the $200 level, up 5.5% today with some of the small caps. One of the ones that we sold earlier, still above where it is right now, but it got a bounce off to the 50-day moving average. Apollo Global Management in the finance area pulled back to 116, and we added some there, and then it bounced, kind of clearing a little bit of consolidation here. So NVIDIA's pulling back. We'll just take a look at the big cap tech here, pulling back to its 10-day moving average. ARM doing about the same. Microsoft had a big move yesterday and a bigger move down today. It's an outside day as it moved outside previous 2 days. So pulled back to its 20-day moving average. Typically when that happens, there's maybe 1 or 2 more days at least. Downdraft. Apple. This is definitely an outside day as well. Pulled back. Amazon. Pulling back to 20-day moving average. Google slicing through the 10-day, getting close to the 20-day. Netflix getting close to the 50-day. Meta pulling back to their 20-day. Wondering if Tesla, we looked at earlier, getting close to the 10-day. And Eli Lilly bounced off the 10-day, is not off by much right now. Take a look at the energy. Got a nice move in energy. Oil prices got a little bit of a bump here. Here's the triple hedged on oil. It's up 0.15%. And take a look at a couple of the oil stocks. Got a nice jump up on Weatherford. Constellation Energy is actually pulling back a little bit. But that wraps up our show for today. This has been Mornings with Michael for information, educational purposes only. Go out there and continue working on your goals and your activities. If we can help you with anything, please let us know in our comment line. In the meantime, everybody go out there, have a great day. Keep amazing everybody around you, and we shall catch you tomorrow.